And we are live. Welcome to the RedBlue Pod number 116. Today we got three 2024 movies
Hell yeah.
on Unfrosted, Abigail, and Mea Culpa. How are you, Overlord?
Oh, well, I'm feeling a bit better. The feeling a bit better. I
That's
mean,
good news. Um, I think we are ready to cut to the intro.
Not funny. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Not funny.
So here we are with the first topic of today, Unfrosted. Um,
we have Pop Tarts. I like Pop Tarts.
yeah, yeah, and it's very interesting because someone that got the StreamYard link did like the movie as well. Unfortunately, maybe he had something coming up, so that's why he didn't join. Um, what did
Yeah,
you think of Unfrosted?
honestly, it kind of felt like. Honestly, watching that movie, it almost felt like it's from a decade or so earlier. The type of humor and story beats that lots of it feels less like a movie from the 2020s and almost like a movie from the time it took place. Sometimes, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
There's lots of that old. There's lots of that old humor that I remember from the older stuff. That, not like the type of stuff I usually expect from the movies nowadays. Yeah. And that's
but
why
it
I like that movie.
maybe you should try more less of the mainstream movies. I've seen 24 movies from this year, or I should say 24 movies that came out this year because some of them were made last year, but they only came out this year. And I will say that most of what I've seen is kind of good. It's just today we got two really bad movies. Well, you liked one of the two. I didn't, but Mea Culpa is one of the worst one this year. I
I did
didn't.
not see that.
You don't miss much, but that's the exception. I will say that most of the movies I've seen in 2024 were very enjoyable. I liked most of the experience I had. If you want a list to explore eventually, I can provide you one later,
And
but
maybe watching time for a review.
yeah, but again, I think this year was a very solid year for movies.
Well, at least compared to last year.
It was another really good year last year. Uh,
I don't
and
know. We had Wish last year, so
yeah, but are you aware that there's around 200 to 300 movies a year?
I guess. But I mean, I guess, but it's because what I mean is from the big studios. What we had in 2023 was lots of fumbles of double of rolling two d20s and rolling two ones.
It depends. Like there's a lot of really good indie movies, and even
Yes,
if
but I
it's
mean, yes, I meant the big studios, the Disney's, the what, like so.
yeah, yeah, but again, like even the indies, even with a reduced budget, they can still manage to make really good
I
and
know,
solid
I am.
movie.
That's not what I implied. That's not
Yeah,
what I was implying. I, I was talking like the movies that Hollywood likes to promote, usually the Disney and the stuff by Disney or Paramount or stuff.
Dead Reckoning was really good. Have you seen it?
No.
That was a Mission Impossible. That was like Hollywood in a nutshell.
Oh,
That
Mission
was
Impossible.
yeah, Dead
Haven't been.
Reckoning.
Should maybe I should catch up on that.
That was a really good one. It wasn't my favorite one, but it was a solid movie. Have you seen Oppenheimer?
No, but I think I should. But I wish I did.
That's another really solid movie I'd highly recommend. Now,
Well,
Barbie was also decent. I wasn't the
a
biggest
movie I
fan.
did see. A movie I did see. See, was The Boy and the Heron.
So you see, it's not all that bad. I
Well, I
also have
guess it's
seen
a.
it.
Well, I guess, but it's a foreign movie, and a lot
Yeah,
of but and just that so it's not part of a big central Hollywood thing compared to what Disney does and the like. But
yeah,
anyway, but we're getting off topic.
yeah,
Good movie, amusing. Oh, made me laugh hard.
yeah, yeah.
Busted.
That's the intro. But yeah, to get back on topic,
Yeah.
Unfrosted is probably one of my least favorite movies we had this year, and um, I think my biggest issue with this movie is the humor. I could not stand it. I was rolling my eyes.
Actually,
I
it was my brand of humor, so it was
so
like my brand of humor.
maybe it was more aimed at you than me. I think that's what happened, and I guess you're in the same mindset as um, our friend Dre Poupe, which is the guy that was supposed to maybe come. Hopefully, he will show up at some point because he also has seen Abigail. Anyway, Unfrosted. Um, I got like a lot of issues, but again, it it's all the same thing. It's humor. It's joke not really landing for me. So to start my part of the review, um, my first issue would be the first meeting when the guy started telling the story. Wasn't funny. That was in the restaurant really early in the movie. That was like one of the first two scenes. I feel like they tried really hard to be like, oh, look, you should laugh, clap at me. And I didn't. I was like, oh, don't tell me the entire movie is like that. And to pause a bit on that review, Charles from Will's Critic also covered that movie on his channel, and his review was very interesting. Um, and yeah, I'm not the only one that wasn't the biggest fan of the humor in this movie, but I'm sure there are people like you and Dre that will find that funny. Now, my next issue would be the commercial with the orange tiger was dreadful to witness. And I will be honest, I didn't mark down notes as I was watching, but I forgot most of the movie. Um, so it's notes, yes. It's stuff I did take as I was watching, but I've seen lots of movies and I cannot provide more details than the notes I've given there. Um, the third issue for me, the crispy crisp tree were cringe eye rolling bad. I hated these tree. What did you think of the crispy tree crisp guys?
Well, I thought we were just walking jokes, and I wasn't paying attention much to them. I was paying attention to some of the other jokes and stuff.
Okay. Um, would you say they are good or bad or
Mm,
just comic relief?
Comic relief.
Okay, interesting. Uh,
Comic relief in a comedy movie, but but I digress.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
My
because
oh, what do you do? What did you wanted to add there?
it's good. So like some good some comedy like from some of the old time from when I grew up. Kind of you know.
You know, you like comedies. I highly recommend The Fall Guy. It's it's not an indie movie. It's made by David
The new
Leitch.
one or the new one or the old one? Heard it was a remake actually.
It's not really a remake. It's the new one, yes, but I don't think it's a remake. It's something really new. It's made by David Leitch. a guy that has been in the industry for many, many years,
Yeah,
and it stars both
I heard about it. I've seen trailers. I've seen
yeah,
lots of trailers.
yeah.
So I
There's
think,
Ryan Gosling in it, and
yeah, I've seen that.
there's oh, you have seen the Fall Guy. You have seen the movie?
No, I've seen the trailers.
Oh, okay. But
Because
I'd highly recommend watching.
okay, I think I'll try to have a look when I can.
Yeah, one sec. Okay, sorry about that. It's just your phone was ringing in the
Oh yeah,
background.
right.
What were you about to say before the phone rang?
Yeah. I was simply about to say it was some good old, mhm, or some good, like some old. Oh yeah, right. I say, yeah. Maybe I should try to look at it when I can. And it's like a I'll try to look at the old portion. It's like a.
It's a action flick with really great humor.
I'll try.
It's
I'll have a look when I can, and that's it.
it's
I'll
one of
try.
my favorite movies this year. Anyway, to get back on Frosted, my fourth issue would be the goo joke was painful. The fifth issue would be the second meeting after the discovery of the past tree was another painful attempt at being funny. So again, like five issues, five stuff that didn't land for me. Sixth issue, we clearly see the camera through the mop. Characters look at it, but don't realize it. Therefore, said characters are bad. Now, maybe it was satire.
I think the
I
joke was about. I think that was the joke.
okay.
I think that.
So
I think that was the joke. And in fact, the fact that and the other joke was the fact that the other side was doing the same thing, and the joke is that somehow they can't of falling to their own obvious tricks. I think that was the joke.
yeah, so I guess this one it wasn't really that fair. It was just me hating on the movie.
Yeah, I think you're just not the. I, I think you're just not the target audience. That's some.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I.
So you brought back point five to the movie. Still my least favorite thing this year, but still it's something. Um, the next issue would be how would the kid know the definition of trademark? Kind of impossible, especially in the 1960s. Uh, Look, if it was a more modern movie where we are more socially aware of stuff, that would be fine. But now it's a kid in
Well, there's
1960.
I've seen there's lots of commercial where the jokes about some kids knowing more than more. I've seen some commercials all over, and it seems like there's a trend of sometimes kids seemingly knowing more of what they should at that age. Which some commercials even back in that time was some what about some kids knowing? It's like
Look, today's with the internet and such, I would stand by what he said. I would be like, yeah, you're right.
yeah.
But
Well, admittedly, I think with what's on the internet, I think most of us kids would probably I think most of like but I think most of us kids would not be able to tell what's real, what's not, and with all the definition of the internet, it probably would. Two kids would probably be debating on what the exact definition of a
yeah,
rather than
but
one who and 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 with and be a dice roll whenever either of them is one of them is right. I mean, but it could be anything from both are right but have a different interpretation. One is right, one is wrong, or somehow both are in the wrong. But
yeah.
anyway,
But again, it's not present day. The story takes place in 1960,
I was
and
just saying that even in
yeah,
some, I've seen some commercial. Sometimes I saw some old commercials, new commercials, and once in a while you'd see some commercials about kids knowing more, and that was a thing even back then. But sometimes you have a joke about some kids knowing more than they.
it was scripted. They didn't really know more. It was scripted. Like when you see a commercial, it's scripted. Um, it's like a movie, but to sell a product. It's something very short, and kids are just reading through what they are given. So
Well, I mean, well, look, I mean, it's about the script, but I mean, it's a movie too.
yeah,
It's a movie about a product.
yeah, yeah,
It's almost like a, it's almost like a hour, it's almost like a over an hour long commercial.
yeah.
So
Well, 2 hour, almost 2 hour. Well, an
almost
hour
two
and a
hour
yeah, yeah,
an hour and a half that was like a hour and a half commercial. Like
yeah.
you, it's like so expect lots of that type of humor that you. So expect a lot of humor that you'd get from some of those funnier commercials.
Yeah. But my true issue is that this time around it wasn't really a kid talking, it was a commercial, it was a movie. So that was more my issue. Like, I get what they were trying to do. Kids are really like that sometimes in present day because of the internet. But again, it's 1960s.
Well, admittedly, due to
No
the
kids
internet,
talk like that.
I'd say some of those kids might actually know a little less. I'd argue that some of those kids might, or maybe if it just, or maybe if it, or maybe that some of those, all those kids would, be like those know-it-all would just, would explain that thing that they read online only to, only to get the wrong definition because they didn't actually Google it up.
Yeah. But
I
again,
usually try to at least check.
oh, sorry. Continue.
I usually at least try to get the definition of a word. Like what's that word? Because unless unless those kids have the reflex of googling up every word they're curious about, they might get they have an opposite. It's like,
But again, I feel like the other kids, they acted like kids and they had kids moments, and that was great. That's something I enjoy in my movies. But that moment with the kid telling the definition, it didn't work for me. In terms of characterization and really like, nah, it doesn't work. Next up would be not funny fat joke. Pay us or we delete you wasn't really funny. The idea's demonstration wasn't funny. The fart joke in the bar wasn't funny. Funerals were trying hard to be funny when it wasn't. Um, any comments about the funerals? I think that was by the end of the movie or something.
well, admittedly, well, I admit I laughed a bit at the milk and stuff. Look, I just say I think it's generally clear. I was the target audience. You weren't. I think it's that simple.
Okay. Next up would be the dog joke with the mascot going in strike wasn't funny. The bedroom fun joke after the meeting was bad. More unfunny joke during the protest. Um, so these are my issues with the movie. Now I do have a few likes. I will admit, I won't lie. But before I go into my likes, I will ask you: do you have any issues on your side about this movie? Is there anything you didn't like?
Nothing glaring. I can't remember any I can't remember any glaring issue.
Okay,
I
well,
can't remember any. I can't remember any glaring issue. I might need to rewatch it if you. I might need to rewatch it, but we do not have the time to. But we don't have the time to get up, watch the whole movie again, and then come back.
that's
Sadly,
true. But yeah, that's a good thing you didn't add any glaring issue. That's I'm glad you enjoyed that movie more than me. And again, I agree with you
I
as
said
well.
I'm simply I think I'm the target audience, and you are not. That's
Yeah,
just simple.
yeah, and I think Gray as well was the target audience. Because he also found that movie very funny. Um, so I'm curious to hear about others.
I think
So
it's a similar situation on why Man of Steel was a bit dividing. Some were the target audience, others were not.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
I remember seeing a I remember seeing a review of two by two guys. One liked it, the other didn't. And simply, the other guy was, right, similar case. admittedly, the other one was more of a Batman fan, so
Yeah. Anyway, now let's get into the likes. I will say that the main character was entertaining, the music was okay, the boss with glasses was entertaining, the NASA scene was cool, the team was entertaining, and mid poison cereal joke did land and was very hilarious. The politics with Russia was entertaining. The kid drawing better was an actual decent joke.
yeah, admittedly, it's because yeah, it's a funny thing. Like you'll see lots of kids doing impressive drawing, while a lot of adults would dis-
I admit the weird life form was funny. I admit the
yeah.
glasses guy was funny when he was screaming to the kids. The action was entertaining. So again, I think some of the humor did land. Most of my likes are jokes. I feel like more failed, but there are still the good ones out there. And this is all I had to say. So, do you want to add something on that? What did you like the most about Unfrosted?
I said it's the old timey humor type that I liked. Me it was like, oh yes, it's like that humor like from some of the old movies I grew up watching. It made me laugh hard. It's like
That's
felt like a
very cool.
felt like a blast through the past song.
Would you recommend this movie?
For anyone who likes old time that old brand of humor, those who like that old brand of humor from older movies, those who like that type, I'd say you have a good time laughing.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think
Okay, well, I think it's the perfect moment to give away our scores. Mine is a 2.5 out of 10. You gave back point 0.5. Congrats. What about you?
I think I'll give it like good something. I think I'll give it a good like around. I'd say in 9.5, 10 something. Maybe give or take.
9.5 to 10. Oh, that's interesting. So it's like night and day. I like it. It's not a um how do we call it? Echo chamber. I ate echo chamber, so
Me too. Me too.
that's
Me too.
great.
Me too. I hear echo chamber, and I want to. And I want to get a build. And I want to get one of those boulder bulldozers to smash the wall, and
Hell
like
yeah.
I want to yeah, I want to grab up and then just smash the wall, and then just want you want to look to what it's like on the other side, hearing the outside sound. Just
Yeah.
put binoculars and just see.
So, do you want to add anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, I will say this. What do you have going on your end of the internet?
I was watching a few, watching a few videos about the games and stuff.
Yeah. What else? Not that much.
It's mostly about games. You know me.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you a lot. Again, I highly recommend the Fall Guy. It's
Okay,
one of my
I'll see it if I'll see it when I
it's
can. When possible.
it's
And
it's one of my favorite movies this year. So this year, another movie I really enjoyed was Monkey Man. I don't know if you have
yeah,
seen
you
it.
told me about that. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things. To be honest, not all of them good.
But again, a lot of people are very negative about stuff. Um, and I will say
Well,
Monkey Man.
yeah. Well,
Monkey Man.
curiously, they also see. Yeah. Well, curiously, they also say that Inside Out 2 isn't complete trash. So
Yeah,
maybe maybe I'll give that a look as well.
that's good. But yeah, um, again, I recommend Monkey Man. Monkey Man is actually my favorite movie we covered on the channel since we first started podcast, and It will be very hard to remove from that first seat. The Fall Guy, I liked it a lot, but I had a bit more issues here and there. But I think the Fall Guy is a much easier watch because it's a funny movie, and Monkey Man
Okay,
is just very dark. That's why maybe
yeah,
a lot of people didn't like it.
maybe I guess that's likely. I mean, nowadays nowadays after we had a huge wave of depressive, grim, dark stuff, I mean that's people are getting a bit sick of it.
Yeah,
It's grim, dark fatigue, you'd say.
yeah. Anyway, thank you a lot for joining me today, and I will let you go now. Have a great rest of your evening and take
Okay,
care.
have a nice day. Have a nice evening.
Yeah. And here we are, starting with the next topic. Mea Culpa. Another really bad movie I didn't like. Mea Culpa is a Netflix movie. You know their rep now. I know their rep as well. It's funny how last year I had no clue what a Netflix movie was. People were telling the joke Netflix movies are bad. I didn't get the joke. I was like, why? They're movies. How can a specific type of movie be that bad? This year, we had Atlas. I don't think that was any good. I don't think many people enjoyed that thing. And now we talk about Mea Culpa. First of all, I will say I'm probably not the target audience. I think it's aimed at women. It's for women, and it's made by them, I assume. Now it's funny because this year we also had Challenger, and Challenger was a movie made for women. It was made by men, but they understood their target audience. And I liked Challenger a lot. So target audience doesn't really matter that much if you got a really strong and good product. Challenger was a masterpiece, and I wasn't the target audience. On the other end, we got Mea Culpa. I hated this shit. Better than Unfrosted. I didn't want to die after watching it, and it was actually longer. Usually, based on my experience, a Netflix movie is 2 hour. That one, you felt the 2 hour. Now let's get into the issues of that thing. Number one, characters don't talk like a human. Most of the dialogue feels weird. The dinner scene felt like Chat GPT puke. God damn. Okay, I remember. Yeah, that was bad. I I don't know what they were thinking when they made that scene. When they end up with that dialogue. More exposition dump on how everything happened. Detailing instead of showing the honeymoon story. The fourth issue, instead of getting growth throughout the movie, Mia keeps making her decision out of spite for someone and she is being goddamn impulsive. Example, taking the case. Mia coming back after getting cheated on. Pacing was bad. Anything after the wedding blowing up was filler. Random plot twist. ID being alive and bumping into Mia was the plot convenience. And people cannot freaking aim. I hate this movie. And now, after watching it, I know the pure definition of a Netflix movie. And now I am very excited to see more Netflix movie in the future because I want to roast them. I want to enjoy my time ain't watching something. And I said I won. I became what I ate. Mea Culpa is just a really bad drama. And it's the kind of drama you watch and you forgot you've seen. I swear if I didn't add these very detailed notes, I wouldn't even remember what I talk about, a bit like Unfrosted but worse. Say that, but I do think it's a movie slightly better than Unfrosted. It's not saying much, because guys and girls know exactly what I thought of Unfrosted. But here we are. I don't have a lot to say. All is left is the stuff I could actually enjoy. So yeah, Mea Culpa did add a few decent thing going on, and here they are. Main character was entertaining. I admit the Step family makes a decent villain for the movie. Decent. It's not the best one. Seen far better, but it's not the worst one either. PI and lawyer asking weird questions was very fun. PI was probably the most likable character. The client being an unreliable narrator was entertaining. Music, the action was fun. And that's all. The more I think of this movie, the worse it becomes. I still think we had worse movies this year. Shooting at You Unfrosted, Shooting at You Bob Marley. That was another really bad one. I feel like I wasted 2 hours watching Bob Marley and 2 hours on Mea Culpa. I cannot wait to do like a ranking of all of the movies I've seen in 2024 because there's a lot of them. Hell, June is about to end. Maybe I will do a video like what I recommend watching from 2024. Just a tease. Looking good. Well, thank you very much. I try to look good. Um, welcome. I'm glad to see you. Since you're there on chat, I will ask you: have you seen any of these three movies, Dlord? If you did, I can send you the link. Um, outside of that, Mea Culpa is a bad experience. I'd like to tell people, don't waste your time on it. Just don't. Simple. Uh, I feel like even the target audience will most likely hate this thing. So stay away with a 10-foot pole. That's what I gotta say. It's not a Netflix movie for nothing. Netflix just doesn't know how to make good movies. Maybe they make decent shows sometime on the good seasons, but movies, it's just advertisement for the platform. Don't hold too many hopes for a Netflix movie. I got my lesson now. I get it. Which not many been playing games or news. Well, today is Abigail 2024. That's the kids that's a vampire. We got Unfrosted, the Pop Tart movie. And we got Mea Culpa, the lawyer that's a cheater. Um, we already talked about Unfrosted, but if you have seen Unfrosted, I will give you the link and we will hear your thoughts on it if you have seen it. Um, anyway, Mea Culpa for me is a very weak 4 out of 10. It's not great. Mea Culpa is bad. Um, yeah. So let's move on to the next topic, which is Abigail. Now, if you have been on the channel for quite some time, you will know I'm not the biggest horror fan. But I was shocked by that one. I actually liked Abigail a lot. Um, see, Netflix isn't as bad, but a lot of them are not bad. But the seriously they are for amateur filmmakers. Well, before we dive deep into Abigail, I gotta say, I feel like, again, I've seen a video that summarized very well Netflix movies. It's something you dump there to advertise your platform. When they make it, they don't think it's good. They just think it will sell subscription. They're like, "Oh, let's attach these big names. These people everyone know. They're on my movie. People want to see my movie. They will subscribe to Netflix." That's a mindset. They're like, you need to be able to understand and follow the movie without watching it. You don't need to be smart. You don't need to be deep. Just throw away some random like artificial intelligence script. Hire big names. You got the deal. That's Netflix for you. Um. So yeah, Abigail. Let's start with Abigail now. Um. I like that movie a lot, and it's surprising. Um. It's a very good horror flick. I only had a few issues with it. So let's get into it. Issue number one: exposition dump took too long for the girl to present the other characters on the most lazy way. Some of that she could have been shown, but let's save money. Second issue: more exposition dump instead of showing a story that could have been interesting. When Abigail told everyone, storytelling two short stories could have been enough to tell us the villain knows everything about the victims. Number three, the mother being thrown around like a rag doll and not dying or passing out was crazy plot armor. Yes, I go right into it with like heavy spoiler there. Um, I'm aware of that comment, Dlord. I will just highlight it after I talk a bit about Abigail. So, um, I will say that it was very interesting to subvert expectation. What should be innocent and fragile is now dangerous and guilty, aka a child that's a vampire. The opening sequence was entertaining, the rules were cool, characters were likable, the girl being smart was entertaining, the lore was decent, the reveal of the father, the lore was cool, the people plotting against each other was entertaining, everyone turning against everyone was cool, peak entertainment. The action was entertaining. The action and music were great. The message about stopping playing victim was cool. The action was entertaining. The action was entertaining. The ending was cool. So I repeat myself a lot, but that's it. It's just another horror flick. It was good. I liked it. And I wish Grey Poupe was around to like share his thought because I do think he has seen it. And I think he liked it, maybe. Hopefully he did, so I don't sound crazy. But yeah, Abigail was very fun. It's not my favorite movie this year. It's like right in the middle. When I say right in the middle, like thus far I've seen 24 movies of 2024. It's like maybe 12. I'm not joking. I don't even look at it right now and I can guess where it is exactly. Since we're about to finish this current review, I will actually go look into it because it's a bunch of 2024 movies today. So we will talk about it a bit. Um, so yeah, I don't have a lot more to say. I think part of the production was Canadian. I know there was a lot of, or I should say, there were a lot of countries involved in the production of the movie. So there's diversity in the making process of this movie, and I like it. Like these movies are like gem. It's not necessarily indie because usually they take a lot of like good people to make it, but they are not like at one place. They take like good people from Canada, good people from USA, good people from this place or that place. So you end up with like a very good creative team, but it's not Hollywood because that movie is international. This movie is made by several countries. So it's not really indie, but it's not something you say, oh, it's this studio. You cannot really tell. And that's the interesting part. Anyway, Abigail for me gets a well deserved 8 out of 10. In my books, it's solid, it's good. I'd recommend people watching it. Even if you don't like horror, that one is good. I like it. I'm not a horror fan. I don't hate horror, but it's not my favorite style. It's just not. So, we will address in a sec Dlord comment. So, see, Netflix can nail certain adaptation like they did good with One Piece. I I heard good things about One Piece. I haven't seen it. I'm not a really big fan of the manga. I've seen a lot of the manga. I've seen parts of the anime, but that's why I won't talk too much about it. But I've heard good things, so I'd assume it's interesting. Um, there is like good Netflix or Prime series, but the ones advertised are meh. You have streaming slot mostly. Some can be good. Well, Dlord, you told me like Damsel was good. Cole told me otherwise, and a reviewer I trust also told me otherwise. So I don't know how much of that is accurate. Um, Maybe you enjoyed Damsel, but what I've heard is not really gentle toward it, and I do think it's Netflix. And eventually, maybe I will end up covering it anyway because that's a 2024 movie. I think should be. Um. Anyway. Um. Now let's take a look to my juicy letterbox because there's a thing I want to see. Um. So I have seen 24 movies from 2024. Abigail comes in 15th place, right beneath Bad Boys Ride or Die, and right above Planet of the Apes. And I think I'd pick any day, anytime Abigail over Apes. I I wasn't a big fan of Planet of the Apes. It wasn't a bad movie per se, but Abigail was just a more fun experience. Um, Now let's look into the rest. So Mea Culpa is almost in last place. It's like place 21st. Yeah, 21st. Um it's very low. It's underneath Liza Frankenstein and right above Bob Marley One Love. And Unfrosted thus far is the lowest with place number 24. So actually, Mea Culpa is 22nd. I really suck at maths. Um, yeah, Unfrosted and Mea Culpa are really low thus far for me. But I will still specify that I disagree with um, Overlord earlier when he was saying, "Oh, like cinemas is not that great anymore, like the big studios." I could understand it, but there's more than just the big studios, and even the big studios. Bad Boys, Ride or Die was good, and I don't think it's indie. I think it's a big production. Planet of the Ape was enjoyable, another really Hollywood like movie. So I disagree. I need to debunk and say that you guys and girls need to stop watching the same YouTubers that are telling you cinema is dead, Hollywood is bad, and you need to stop watching them. I'm sorry, but that's not true. We got good movies. It's not because this year, for example, 2023, has a bunch of bad superhero movies that it reflects the entire year. It's a goddamn lie. It's not the only thing that comes out. Just educate yourself on what comes and watch movies. And then you can talk about movies, but don't tell us, oh, movies are bad today. It's a lie. No, no. Some are, that's true. Look back in the past. There were also bad movies. The big difference, there was no platform bashing it. Bad movies would just be forgotten. Today's people are talking about the bad stuff, so of course you will know there's bad stuff. Anyway, I had a blast. I wished we had Dre, but it wasn't available. That's still fine. We had Overlord a bit earlier. Great talk. We disagreed, but we can get along because we are Canadian and Canadian can get along sometimes. I hope. Anyway, um, later tonight, we got a Acolyte and the Boys stream. Hopefully, we will have Joker's Corner on. Told me he would be there, but I don't know. Things happen. Um, Otherwise, maybe Grey Poupe will come. He also has the link. Um, Maybe I will end up being alone again, talking about stuff alone. It's still very fun. I like reviewing stuff. Acolyte this week, we will talk about it. The Boys this week, we will talk about it. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. And if you are on the playback, you will see the timestamps. Have a great day and take care.